Once upon a time, this used to be a little Zen garden that my dad built and designed with flowing little waterfall down two ends of a pond, and it was really pretty and golden. But then it wasn't, because it just got neglected. Much like a person like myself, because I just made a video and I was saying about, what's it about really? It's like 2016. So many damages happened and they went uncompensated. And the worst part was, it was just like the fact that they willingly let a person suffer for an hour and a half in pain and ignoring the person. So it's like that total disintegration of faith and respect and integrity within a police force if you're going to just allow someone to be in a cage in pain, telling them and ignoring it. Now you say, what did I do to get in the page? Well, I was going to make an Edinburgh Fringe funny sketch about that. Like, it's like, what's racism? I don't even know what racism is. It's not a concept I really kind of get in some respects, because if you say something like, oh, white people, really thick, people pick you up and say, that's a very whitewash thing to say. Why are you saying that like that? So, it's not, are you allowed to do it because you're white? You're allowed to, and black people are allowed to send themselves up because they're black, because they're allowed to. You're allowed to do it to your own, but you're not allowed to say whatever. What's that? It's all boring anyway. It's all fucking boring to somebody that really don't really give it much. Who cares? And it's like, you'll just learn from history and go, oh yeah, they've got it really bad. It's like, yeah, it's all relative. Actually, we were lower class, working class, kicked around, split up in workhouses, working ourselves to the bone. And that's why we all love hip hop, because we gravitate to the victimised stuff, and then it's like there ain't a monopoly on being victimised. Anyway, it's all crap and it's all bollocks. And I was going to try and attempt to make the thing funny, because I got charged with it and I had to go to court with it, 24 hours in the cell for it. And it's like, for what, you say? Walking down the street minding your own business. That's a commercial lane. I was in a public place and some person started threatening and harassing me from behind, and I was under the influence. And that person then threatened me with kidnap off the street. So in my line of duty, in my line of work, I'm told that I have to identify a criminal as either I-31, I-32, IC3. But on that day, I didn't have my radio and people to talk to, and I forgot what one was an IC3, so I just called him Black. But he was none less a criminal to me, just in a uniform paid for by the taxpayers, threatening me with something on the street as a lone woman, mind my own business, getting stalked, followed along the road, getting told to do this, or you spend the night in the cell. I just went beep, 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 beep. Anyway, I said what I said. I was thrown into cuffs with a heavy, heavy bag and a heavy, heavy coat hanging off. So it was cutting into my thing for an hour and a half, and they were loving every minute of it, sadistic. And I was like, you perverts deserve to be in a... You should be in a club doing what you're doing if you get off on that. Not this non-consenting shit, but that's the beauty and the truth of it. Some people enjoy it more because you're not consenting and you're upset and you're really angry and very upset. And the more angry and upset you are, and the more organic and authentic it is, there's somebody getting off on that quite pervertedly if they're going to leave you in a cell cage for an hour and a half. Now, doctors documented the cut that has left a scar and had a whole year's of further damage. They documented that. So where's my compensating? For their colleagues to then leave you in a cell for 24 hours, and for the courts, the Crown Courts of London, to then entertain it in a court of law back in 2016 is absurd. And you want a lawsuit against it because stupid solicitors that they provide you with say, oh, it's your first conviction, just plead guilty. What, to provocation in a public place, to non-consent in a public place, and it's just you're ill-advised. Anyway, it might have offended a member of public in the court, and it got reduced to that. So I said, all right then, guilty. I did say what I said, F off you, blap, blip, blap, blap. Because, I mean, it's just descriptive, and he is none less a criminal, so I'm just describing a criminal to my mind in a drunken state, which would be a slap on the wrist, not 24 hours in the cell, not a day in court, not all this crap. So it's like it is what it is. It's total exploitation of a human being, a citizen, and we live and we learn, and we're at stupid phases in our evolution, and at the time it's devastating. Don't even apply looking for work, get devastated, depressed, and then you hear that other people get the same tags of religious, racist, aggravated harassment in words and writing as a basic D&D. So you're like, how absurd is this shit? So that's how absurd it is, and how much they want to cripple people's souls at various points in their evolutionary progress. But once it's come to full light and people fully realise what it is, then you go, actually I was targeted on that day. I'm pretty sure it was crossover industrial to actually exploit me and then subject me to discriminatory treatments. So it's like, okay, so I'm entitled to mass compensation in the sum of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of pounds, I do believe, for stealing one's career path and stealing one's direction in life and making one so depressed. So that's what I'm entitled to. And you can't really move forward because you try to find something funny in it to say, like, I was just describing a criminal, I see 3CUNT, but I forgot because I was drunk. But it's not funny because they literally did upset you for that long, and it altered and changed your career, your path, and everything else about your life. So I haven't got a conviction. 2016, it's overturned. I've overturned it. It has no validity in my world. It never did in the first place. I felt like it was part of a breach of my boundaries via other exploitations around the area that I was, because you couldn't make up the week that I just had prior to that. You couldn't make it up. Getting physically assaulted by this big Nigerian dude, this other woman on another door doing what she did after drinking in a place for a year. I didn't do anything that day. I wasn't even barred on the day, but it turned into a circus. So just before that circus was acting out. So it was really fucking a fucked up week. Anyway, I'm still waiting for the compensation, and that was my whole point. But you aspire to inspire to get to where you need to go because you need people to know, so they don't suffer the same wasted time in a sort of like crippled victim stance. Because when you go to a court, which I've got a court date, and they go, oh, you've got a conviction, racism, racist religion. I was like, fuck, I haven't got a conviction. Fuck your law system. It's clearly crooked as fuck, isn't it? And then it's like, oh, I've got to go there again, and there's no actual evidence, and on the first day nobody turned up and you didn't show me any evidence, and the second time these actors turned up, ham actors, and talked behind a curtain, and then that constitutes evidence when it shows you being harassed, you being told to leave a premises that you didn't buy a drink on, so someone put the drink in your hand. Then you read about things like called zombie drug. But I was on Ray and Nephews. I don't drink Ray and Nephews generally. There's exceptional circumstances at home with my parents, and I was just really stressed, and I had a toothache, so I drank Ray and Nephews. And the last thing I remember was just parents picking me up on the other side of town after being at the Spanish Galleon. So in between the Spanish Galleon and there, somebody bought me a drink, put it in my hand. Then they asked me to leave and put me in this little holding area where there's all CCTV'd up, dissolved public house. So therefore, what is it, a film set, a theatre set? Could be anything, couldn't it? Could be just a knocking shot for police, because there's always police around it. And apparently a splash on the floor on the footage that appeared on the second trial constitutes actual bodily harm, because they said I threw a drink. Now the two people, if I was them, I'd just retract my statement and say I'm not even bothered. You wouldn't even bother. You would not go for a whole year of court. It's like, you would not do it unless there's an agenda behind it. Anyway, for some reason they had my name and address even though I didn't buy a drink, and I didn't use my bank card, so they knew who I was, right? It doesn't add up, does it? So they knew who I was and where I lived from that footage. The police, what, they could have identified me using facial recognition? I don't think so, because my face was pretty down and I just had a mohawk. But they might have. But they knew where I lived and what my address was, so they had 4 days to come and take me in for questioning, but they didn't. And so I just walked back into the pub because I had no recollection of any of this, whatever they're making up. Oh, can I get a pint? Not serving you. Oh, okay, whatever. What's that? Just no. Okay, so I walked out. I sat in the market. The next minute, there's these hoodies with body cams frying themselves all over me. Now, if you know my history, I've been arrested at an airport in plain clothes, for nothing during COVID. Spent a very hair-raising night in a cell during COVID with no solicitors or anything. And the following year, left on a wanted system for the same reason. And you're like, all these events that happen that are really sketchy, they have an effect on the psyche. So you've got hoodies throwing themselves at you with body cams. It's like, who the fuck are they? After being around film sets for a decade, you think, who the fuck are they? Are they just potential, just fucking people actually going to kidnap you? Take you in a van and you'd never see the light of day again? Because nobody actually acts out when you're just being attacked by hoodies in public places these days. You just all look on. So you're getting attacked and what happened? You could, like, you should defend yourself. I mean, if you knew Kung Fu, which I actually do, Toshi, I should have actually defended myself a bit better, because they called themselves emergency responders, but there was no emergency. And then they tried to make up this big thing in the court on the day of beating on an emergency responder. If doing that on a steel-toed cat boot in shock is beating on, then guilty as charged. oh, it's a steel-toe cat bin. What the fuck are you? Who are you? What are you doing? I'm sorry, but you should have knocked on the door and come and taken me in for questioning. That's unprofessional. You write to the complaints people, they don't give a fuck. They're like, whatever. So it's all just a joke. Drop it. Don't take me to court. Exceptional circumstances.